Hello, welcome back to day 2 of the GG.Bet Beijing Invitational. It is the winners best of 3 matchup, and we've had G2 versus GamerLegion. Map number 1 was Overpass. It was the map pick of GamerLegion, but they take it 16-14, much closer than their first affair today.
Absolutely. Quite the stark contrast from the 16-0 that they started us off with, but very easily could have been a map that they lost as well. G2 had multiple opportunities to swing it back. They even had a 7-0 run. Midway through the second half, that kind of looked to solidify their position as a clear favorite to take this. And going into Dust 2, I would have assumed that would have been a 2-0. But here we are, 1-0 for GamerLegion. Now it's their opportunity to potentially steal away Dust 2, a map that we've talked about. Even if it is a very strong map for G2, obviously it's always been a map that has a lot of upset potential. So there's definitely not like we're without a chance to seeing GamerLegion actually picking up this 2-0.
Yeah, well, realistically, we're looking at a third map coming in, though.
Yep.
This should be the map that G2 are able to pick up. It's one they've shown they're very good on earlier as well today. With a win over one more time, and they've played it very well at LAN events against the best teams in the world. So this is a map, if Kenny and Jax can keep up their good performance, it should be a map they walk away with. And that third map, I think that's a little bit more up in the air. So
yeah, Train is always going to be interesting if we get to that point. I do think I would lean the direction of G2, just off of the fact that in the past they've been pretty good at it. But again, it's a pretty big thing to miss out on having a player like Shox on Train. So that could obviously have its impact. And also, as you mentioned it when we kind of aired our thoughts about it the first time around, the fact that there's a pretty damn solid opper on the side of GamerLegion in the name of Knock, right?
Yeah.
And he can definitely create some havoc on a map like Train. And it's not like they have poor secondary oppers either. If you think back to it, Dennis is definitely capable of wielding that weapon as well. So there's plenty from GamerLegion to play off of. For me, it's more that I think their T side might be a little bit too difficult to string together on a map like Train.
Yeah, definitely. But Dust 2 is the map where we will hit next. And I feel like this is a map, like I said, that G2 should win, but it's one that GamerLegion will probably put up a really solid fight on. Yeah,
you'd hope so. And again, it allows for individual skill to shine through. That's not like there's any lack of it on the side of GamerLegion. So they have things in place to be successful, especially when you think about what's, I guess, the typical go-to strategies nowadays on Dust 2 in terms of what's seemingly most effective. It's still pretty simple, not too advanced strategies that's spaced around contact plays or basically your very cookie-cutter catwalk execute that's never really going to go away just off of how good it is.
It's just the way you play Dust 2. You have to take that catwalk control. It just opens up so many different avenues to both bomb sites. So not having that puts you at an immediate disadvantage on the T side.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see if GamerLegion are, I guess, available or readily available for that. If they have, I guess, the cohesion to set up executes like this, shouldn't be the most tricky thing to do. I mean, all of these players, even if they necessarily haven't played together, they've played in teams that have played Dust 2. Therefore, they would know the XYZ smokes that needs to be thrown and so on. Then from that point on, it comes down to basically how well they can play off of each other. But for the most part, out of what we've seen from GamerLegion, they've done a pretty excellent job of that so far, at least on Overpass.
Yeah, something we've seen earlier from G2 on this map was weakness towards the CT B ramp area. Yeah, we've seen that as a big weakness.
Kenny swinging it in.
I feel like GamerLegion are going to be a team that could exploit that a lot more than one more time.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. And it's not like one more time even did a poor job of it. They just didn't utilize it as often as you might have expected to see with how much success rate they found on it. But yeah, both instances, or in any instance when we saw Lucky or Kenny S trying to make that swing into mid from CT spawn, more often than not, that created a bit of an opening for the T side to take advantage of, whether they wanted to end up going back to catwalk or if it ended up in a quick B split. So definitely something to keep in mind and have a look out for. But again, we're not going to necessarily go too overboard with all the mistakes that G2 made, because we've yet to see GamerLegion and what they can really make out of it. I mean, they could have even more glaring mistakes on their CT side for all we know.
It's also a completely different team, right? They're playing against. They're going to have a lot more respect. Just they're forced to have that respect. But against one more time, you go into it with a sort of mental attitude, which is better than these guys. So they can afford to make those plays.
I mean, one of the things we saw throughout the CT side of G2 was the fact that the B defenders, I think it was Kiyoshima and I want to say Amanek, in a fair amount of times, in a fair amount of rounds, we actually saw them pushing through into Upper Dark quite often. Just if they don't run into any sort of necessary resistance immediately off the bat of a round, then they'll start wandering around to see if they can find anything, with aggressive pushes. And if they don't, that's great because they get a ton of map control. You've basically locked in the entirety of the T side into one part of the map, and you can just stranglehold them from that point on. So I don't think that's going to be as of a common occurrence as we saw versus One More Time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm looking forward to the most part of just seeing what GamerLegion have, because they've got a lot of individuals on the team, and we need to see them be utilized more as well. I think obviously Nok, he's going to be a big pivotal factor on pretty much every map that they play. He has the potential to be a great star, and again we've talked about the fact that he's probably one of the only Swedish operas that has the potential to be world class, right?
Yeah, it does seem that way, right? Because he's again, can be a very snappy, quick opera, but doesn't necessarily miss anything within that 30-degree window, which is usually it's the easy shots that are the hardest to make, and he seems to be making them a whole lot more often than not. So that obviously puts him at a bit of an advantage, and with what we're seeing out of him so far, it just seems like he has the potential to go either a step further.
We are just currently waiting on one more player to connect to the server. It shouldn't be too much longer until they get on. It seems like that's sometimes always an occurrence online. There's always a players, a small break turns into something they get distracted with.
Have to go to the bathroom, just like comes back, it's like, we on yet? It's like, nah, the other team is missing 2 players. They're like, oh, I'll go make a sandwich then. Yeah. And then just second he bails out, both of those players have connected. Now it's waiting for him. Guy. Yeah. And he takes so long, and so somebody on the other team is thinking like, I'll go for my bathroom break. Maybe I'll have a cigarette or something. Yeah. It just keeps going and going.
Yeah, vicious circle of people just not being where they're meant to be. And it's always the worst for the casters though, because we're stuck in a room. We're forced to sit here.
Yeah, so we have to. Be,
we're locked away. we're here all the time. Yeah. But yeah, I think the worst one I've ever had is in the UK scene. They always just come up with the most random things ever. The best one, I think I've said this before, is that one of the players, his grandmother made homemade cookies and he had to eat them. So he took a pause and decided to leave for a while and then come back once he had finished the cookies.
All right then.
Yeah.
I mean...
So there you go. The UK scene mentality is obviously one to follow.
Yeah, no, that's a bit of an odd one. Yeah, I haven't had the cookie excuse. I've experienced some weird ones. Obviously, people typing out my keyboard doesn't work and then just kind of leaving. Yes. That kind of thing, which is always interesting.
Use the on-screen keyboard, the one that comes up on the Windows.
I'm not sure if they're that tech savvy actually. Even. But yeah, the classic is always like the TeamSpeak issues that is never seem to end.
Yeah, TeamSpeak seems to just be broken for CS players. I've never had a problem with TeamSpeak.
No, same. So
never had a problem with TeamSpeak.
It's never an issue. Somehow it just collapses for pro players literally every single game.
There's better TeamSpeak servers, it seems.
Apparently, but yeah, there's some people who get pretty creative with their excuses as to why they're not showing up or why they're late and so on.
I think the worst one I had was with Woxic. It was like the Wii Play finals for one of their first tournaments they did. It was Vitality versus Hellraisers, and Woxic was playing on 60 ping and decided to take a 45 to 1 hour break because he wanted his ping to go back down. So yeah, I had to sit there for like 1 hour. But Wii Play were quite inventive actually. They had like a Russian guy come on and he started singing CS related opera songs and jazz songs. So
there you go.
Yeah, we had some mid-break, entertainment.
I mean, that's better than nothing, right? Like that's really how you have to look at it.
At least we have something. He was also dressed as a woman, so
okay, yeah, he's got the full package here.
Yeah, it was super strange.
I can imagine. No, I think the worst in terms of just breaks, not necessarily just players wandering off from the computer. Obviously, would have been like the DDoS days.
Oh yeah, DDoS is during like when CS:GO launch was up and all those guys.
2014 was 2015 was not a great time to be a caster, especially in online games. So because you would already have like a bucket list of games, which would be like say 7, 8 games or something, best of ones that you're meant to cover, and obviously one game ends up taking 5 hours because of DDoS and so on, and everything gets pushed back and. It's all just a huge mess, and that's when you really start to struggle in terms of like filling for time and whatnot.
Because like pulling things out of thin air.
Yeah, like when you're at hour, 2.5 of literally just nothing but pauses. Like how the hell do you keep talking about something, right? And you can't send it to break, and that's where you are.
Yeah, there was times where we used to just see like players would start with the roster, and then a couple of rounds in or something, someone gets DDoS and they have to wait, and some random guy comes in as a stand-in, and we have a completely different roster. And I remember the time where I believe it was Get.Right. Didn't he stand in for which team did he stand in for? It was online for a couple of cups. Oh, there was something. Get.Right just came in as a random stand-in for a team that got one player got DDoSed, but it was a pretty good stand-in to randomly appear.
I could definitely see that. One of the players I always really appreciated in this era was Pronax, because he had 2 dedicated internet connections with different IPs.
That is hardcore.
Yeah, so he would get hit on one of them and just like immediately swap over to the second. That's like the most Swedish thing ever, though.
Yeah, it is. I think that's quite a Nordic thing as well, because I have a few friends like from Denmark and stuff who have the multiple internets. They'll just lose connection in a CS game and they'll be like, 2 seconds, switch the internet to the other one.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty nice thing. I feel like every pro player should have had it back in 2015. Sadly, it wasn't the case, but whenever you did Fnatic games, for at the very least, like you didn't have to worry about it, because Pronax at the very least was covered.
Yeah, well, at least Pronax, and then you just target someone else.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The most wild story we have about that stuff, I think, is obviously over in Asia, one of the teams trying to qualify for
the Vici incident. Yeah. Somebody cutting the
cutting
cables.
the wires. Yeah, that is mental.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that is going to extreme levels.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vici qualified regardless, didn't they?
They did, yeah,
because they played it. They played it out at a later date.
Yeah, they were obviously the better team.
Yeah. So. That's taking it a little bit far, to be honest.
I can just imagine some guy just up at the window in the, like balaclava, sneaking around the back with his little wires.
I was about to say, like, sat there with his pocket knife and was like,
just chopping away the cables. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. But we are about to ready to get into that game, though. It's enough of the podcast, but we're right into it. It's going to be GamerLegion versus G2, and it's going to be utility for Kiyoshima and Lucky over on the GamerLegion side. It's Knock with a kit and double flash, and the rest on Kevlar. Odds from GG.Bet, certainly favouring the G2 side still.
Now then, we'll see GamerLegion with the opportunity to potentially go 2-0 here. Got quite the task ahead of them. Hampus is going to get a ton of information as to what's going on, and he could also set up for the quick backstab here as well. Actually, I think Lucky's already spotted that. Dennis, the Pistol King, not actually living up to the name, struggling heavily to actually find some connections, just get a dink on Jax, but that's not going to be enough at the end of the day. Bomb goes down.
Not exactly what we were expecting to see from Dennis, but Amanek, he's going to step up with his pistol skills, it seems, on a Rusty and on the Freiburg as he gets the follow-up. It's all on Hampus 1v4 as he has to try and retake this bomb site, and Kiyoshima has put a bullet in the cranium.
Yeah, Hampus was, I guess, the one who got first contact in a way by hearing all the sound cues from people running up catwalk, just not really getting into the tune of things. Lucky doing a great job of holding him at bay early on there. Not enough pressure points for GamerLegion to really make G2 uncomfortable in that after plant. I don't want to lead for the French. Kenny on the scout. I'd like to see if he can actually find some tags. It does so as well. Let's knock down to 55 through the door. We did see it one more time. They went with 3 scouts. And that worked out. Only 2 to spot for GamerLegion, but they've at least been able to remove Kenny from the equation. Long control has been lost in the meantime, though. G2 is actually going to back out of it. They've had enough. Freiburg.
Oh. Ooh. It's going to be chopped by Lucky, who goes in for a second, but Hampus is there. Quick to get the shot on the scout. And he's on 9 HP, so...
All players on the side of G2 are within a one-shot range of a scout.
Yeah, that is dangerous territory.
Oh, and they're going to go up against Knock, who's in an actually really good position to get...
They've gone for the
easy initial
scout,
kills. Yeah.
They've gone for the scout player who's in the best position and has the highest HP.
Well, we'll see if this pans out. Timing is everything here for Knock, though.
If he looks the wrong way for too long, they'll be close. It'll be difficult to drop them.
Oh,
and that's just unfortunate. Kiyoshima right through the box. Deals with him easily, and now Hampus 9 HP versus 3. G2 should be up 2-0.
And that they should be. Hampus probably just going to try to hold on to the scout. See if he can take it into the next round and create some chaos. If you're G2 as well, considering your HP, you don't really want to go hunting for this. Not really that big of a reward for you if you're able to take a scout out of his hands, and could be pretty devastating for your own economy.
So G2 off to a good start on their map pick. This is obviously one of their home grounds, so I was actually pretty surprised when they got it earlier in a best of one. I think any team that decides to play G2 on Dust 2, it's almost like fighting a losing battle. But when you have no other option, then I guess Dust 2 is always one that is pretty tantalizing.
Yeah, that is very true. We'll see what comes of it, though.
Well, it's going to be GamerLegion with not too much money to work with, barely any resources, so they'll have a deagle on a couple of players and a scout in the hands of Hampus, the rest with just USPs. Dennis actually has an HE grenade that he might decide to put into action. But Hampus has again dropped to 10 HP. Did Kenny S just land both of those? That is...
Why not, right?
Yeah, that's disgusting. Well, eventually he's dead.
I was about to say, like, it does feel like a bit of a...
Hampus just, he wants to die in that position.
It does feel like a bit of a death wish for you to continuously go back into the crosshairs of Kenny S. Well, they're getting, I guess, what you'd expect in terms of results from it. Dennis looking to find a drop on Jax. That's not going to be the case. Knock left all alone.
Oh my god, was that a headshot?
Yeah, it was. I think Keo is like shell-shocked from that. So what the hell just happened? To be fair, how the hell did he not die from a scout headshot?
It was through a box.
Yeah, but like how thick of a box is that?
Again, comes back to the materials.
Yeah, like you can shoot through double doors and headshot someone with a scout and they'll die, but...
Wood. It is a strange material.
Yeah, no, apparently.
Well, Paul's coming in. GamerLegion Brats just wanting to talk over what they want to do in this round. They have got a glass cannon on Knock, so they've invested everything they possibly can into this.
All right. We talked about it. Well, we were focusing on Train, but it's not like Dust 2 is a poor Dust Opera map either. It's going to be interesting to see what Knock can actually do here. Putting a lot of trust into him being able to get some connections off of that. As of right now, it seems like he has to spawn for long. It's not an ideal long spawn by any means, but might be good enough to get him on the corner in time to battle anyone from G2 who wants to try to make it out quickly.
Force spray.
Who was it?
I didn't catch it.
It was either Hampus or Dennis, I'm pretty sure. No, Hampus or Freiberg.
Eventually, that's our goal, Halvor, is to figure out who it is. Yeah. Well, it's going to be Hampus getting wrecked again towards middle. It's deja vu for him. And it's Amanek this time on the Mac 10. So quite a bit of money built up from just that one kill. And GT will be pretty happy with the start into round number 4.
Not bad at all. Even though they have taken damage on Amanek and Jax, the man advantage is always what you're looking to get. Hasn't necessarily changed up too much of their plans. Still playing pretty passively, but you could tell with the group and the duo that's working their way into Upper Dark here with Kiyoshima leading this charge, might have an idea as to what they want to do. If they're going to swing out through mid, short smoke for B exit, already down. That nade just misses Rusty barely.
Well, Knock is going to be here with the AWP as he looks through the mid doors. We'll start to back away. 44 seconds left. G2 still with the advantage. Kiyoshima catches Rusty with a nade in his hand. Oof. And that's as easy as they come if you're Kiyo.
That's pretty much a save already.
Yeah, that's enough to scare them off. Because they have invested so much and they've still got this AWP in their hands, they might as well try and get it into the next one.
Yeah. Unfortunately for GamerLegion, they're just not aware of how low HP so many of the players on G2 are. Kenny, Amanek, Jax could all easily fall victim with pretty much a breath or a sneeze in their direction. And that might have incentivized them to actually go for it, but this is how the situation unfolds. 4 rounds for G2 about.
Yeah, G2 will be pretty happy about, getting a bit of a bonus going on in terms of the Mac 10 and that being able to reap some rewards. They've got good money as well, so they can afford to throw it on in. And Amanek will get rid of Dennis and all the players in GamerLegion fall. Not a single weapon saved. And you almost feel like in the end there, they probably should have just went for it. Because
when you see the end result, right? And one of the issues with them, I don't think it's a wrong decision by any means to have the save call in the scenario that they find themselves. But they need to keep G2 from, well, becoming interested in hunting down, right? So if it's shooting a little bit here and there just to keep the T side a little bit wary about moving forward, that's going to be very helpful. But I guess lesson learned for future situations. G2 is still at 4 and GamerLegion completely broke.
Well, Nid is going to go in towards lower tunnel. Keo is going to make it away from that, so doesn't take any damage on board. Molotov goes in. Keo clears the corners. I love how he's still checking the corner, just to make, double sure that he's not there. Hampus takes damage, dropped to 1 HP. He's really not had a good time with things so far in Dust 2. He's just been the first man getting dropped to barely any HP at the start of every single round, but it's actually getting Rusty, who is the first man to fall victim to Kiyoshima as they start to make their way in towards A long. Kenny will pick up a headshot on towards Dennis, and the A bomb site has fallen.
There we go. Knock finally gets into the action of things. He's going to pick up a weapon and just bail the hell out. Right now, there's no real reason for G2 to go hunting. They know that it's predominantly Deagles that we're seeing. So might just let them live with that 1 AK. I guess Amanek, being the one with the Mac 10 in hand, he's spot a 1. He's going to be sent with the responsibility of finding any potential CT players, strengthening his own economy. I'll add it. This is very far forward. I'm a little bit surprised by the idea of putting the AK on Pampus with 1 HP. And then having the 2 others sack themselves, but still works out, I suppose. Pampus keeping himself safe.
The least likely play is the one that works because they're not expecting it.
There you go. Mind games.
That's it. But 5-0, it's G2 who get themselves the perfect and flawless start here on their map pick. It's currently 5-0 on the scoreboard, and also in Jax's kill count. So he's at the top in terms of score. I believe he is bested by one of his teammates in terms of kills. Just by 1 now. And it will be a fast play from Kenny straight through the longhouse, and he has got the ult still in his hands. Molotov burning. He connects the first shot, nearly gets the collateral as they line up for him again. It's Rusty who drops to 15. That's just crazy from Kenny S.
Well, he's a bit of a wild man, isn't he? G2 again. They get off to such great starts here on Dust 2. Everything going their way and just how they want it to be. Boost up for Dennis so he can peer above the smokes if there were to be some mid-splits. Right now, though, Bomb still just hanging out in T-spawn. No real indication as to what they want to do. They have posted up 2 players towards Catwalk. Both of them actually take a fair bit of damage from that HE from Hempus. Well, from the looks of it, it's going to be either a grouped up Catwalk take or it's going to be a B split. Here we go. No flashes as well, so gonna have to deal with that. Hempus has already taken away Amanek from the equation. Oh, that's a nice follow-up.
Yeah, really good follow-up from Hampus, but Jax is able to drop him. Good kill from Rusty. Connected on towards Jax, and that does leave Kiyoshima into the 1v3. 23 seconds left to play with here for Kiyo. He will start to walk on towards the bomb site. And with 17 seconds left, he is just checking for an aggressive player to try and make this slightly easier. But really what he's doing is giving them time to play with. But there's the kill. He does get it. And Dennis is going to go for the jumping shots. Does damage, but not the kill. And Keo is locked inside the site, but knows there's a player towards short. He's playing this so well. He's got the second kill and only needs Dennis.
He's got a Molotov as well. He can Molotov off ramp, but all right, he's going to hold his weapon up.
Perhaps doesn't want to get timed on as he just stays behind the boxes. Dennis, he knows that he's there, and Dennis will take the headshot. Nice try from Keo, but Dennis will win it for GamerLegion.
Yeah, he's actually going to take the victory lap and pick up the... Oh, yeah, no, don't want to mess up. Don't want to use too much time and not get the bomb plant or bomb defuse in.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, well, salvages in the end, but that also means that the op is...
He's kind of just going for whatever's better on the road, right? It's like, well, okay, we'll upgrade from the M4 to the to the AK, and then spot Krieg. The end goal really is that op, but unfortunately doesn't get there in time. So the pause does come in really close round there for Keo. This was great from Hampers.
Yeah,
this follow-up is perfect.
Oh, nice and easy. Keo definitely made the most out of a bad situation there. Nearly clutching out the 1v3.
Yeah, he read it very well. He knew with the last 3 players in sort of the positions they would be in.
Well, it's led to a pause as well. I think this is of a technical nature, if I'm not mistaken.
I heard a lot of chit-chat during the pause, so...
See, is there anyone who hasn't bought up? Actually, there's a fair few who hasn't bought up on the side of G2 yet. Really, only Kiyoshima who's invested anything at all, so it might be a bit of an issue with a connection or something, or maybe all 4 players disconnected from TeamSpeak, or they just swapped TeamSpeak servers and let Keo be alone on his own.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting, actually. G2 are a French team, right?
Yeah.
But Keo and Kenny S are currently playing from Malta. They live there, right?
That's true, yeah.
Seems like the esports island.
It really is. Slowly just
It's being
taking over the entire,
yeah.
it's taking over the entire place.
But singular up setup. It's not going to be the crazy stuff of Lucky and Kenny.
Oh, money to go around for a couple of days as well on the side of G2. And Kenny, yet again, is going to find a tag through the smoke. Seems like he's almost a guarantee for damage. Jax down in his favorite spot on the map. Bit where he spends most of his days as a CT side player on Dust 2. Long control gain for G2. We'll see what they can make of it. They have 4 players posted up, but at the time being, just putting Kenny S down in pit. This is a really tough angle to kind of swing into as well if you're knock. So easy to get punished. Here we go. It's just going to be 1 flash, and away we go.
Well, Hampus does grab Keo. Jax will find the trade back, though, and it's back into 4 versus 4. But as soon as I say that, Dennis taps the trigger and drops Jax to the floor. It seems like they are ready to go straight in towards the A-bomb site, though. As Kenny S has got the AWP in his hands. It's going to make this pretty deadly for GamerLegion as they try and come back in. It's going to be the short push coming up. 3 players there, 1 inside of CT. And it's Kenny S who picks up the kill on towards Hampers. Lucky is still there with Rusty dropping Kenny. It's making things a lot more difficult, but Lucky tries to hold on. It's all on Amanek. A 1v2 clutch having to come in. He's got already 1 kill, but it's not enough. As Freiburg runs over the top of him, it's GamerLegion with 2.
Road to boot. This might be the first signs of life from GamerLegion here as we get into the 8th round of the first half.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like GamerLegion going to start to build up that buy again. They've got the AWP in the hands of Nock. The AKs still there. Should I say the Kriegs are there and the M4A4s. The AKs are still there though for G2s. They've got the Krieg in their hands as well. Kenny S, he's got the AWP into his hands. And we'll see what they can do here on the T side as they start to go pretty quickly in towards the B apartments.
Yeah, I think that for GamerLegion, obviously the goal is to get to the point where you've somewhat broken G2's economy, and at least they have to go for a half investment instead of a full buy. If you can do that, then things might be looking good. Oh, that's a peak and a half from Jax, so quick. It's going to net them a kill as well. Boost already in place, though, so these smokes are not necessarily going to do all that much. They're still not going to make it up to doors or window without being spotted by Dennis, but Kiyoshima finds 1 through the smoke. Freiburg chimes in. Oh, actually, they've made it past. But Freiburg, look at him go.
4 kills for Freiburg, and the B-bomb site is his. He seems to be just a beast at holding B on CSGO.
Yeah, the king of banana, the king of B. King of the North as well. And right now, pretty much single-handedly assuring GamerLegion having a chance in that round. That was looking so dicey. I mean, Dennis, not really sure because we couldn't see the POV how he or what happened for some players to actually slip by and make it into window and make it into door. Because you could see that he had the vision, but might have ducked around or gotten flashed at the very least opportune time. Freiburg handles that brilliantly.
Kenny should be able to get this kill though if the
opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, it was about to, but obviously Nock takes a more passive stance, doesn't want to overextend.
Oh, that's some chunky damage right there.
Yeah,
double nade into lower dark.
Yeah, he's taking a big load of it. And well, the double up setup still looking good for the CT side. We'll see if it reaps any rewards. Molotov goes in towards short to clear the bottom of the stairs. Flash around the corner. We'll give G2 short control. Simple.
Easy as you like. Smoke goes down though from GamerLegion. But a little bit more time, but it doesn't really seem to deter G2 from setting up here. And I guess the big worry for me here for G2 is the fact that they have 4 flashes. The question is how many are they actually willing to depart with before actually attempting a catwalk push, if that's what the idea is. Actually, they're just going to have one player drop down into spawn. That's Kiyoshima. And he's done so without any hiccups at all. The 2 players on B right now, they are in for potential world of hurt. Oh, Freiburg, you need to watch window. Somebody needs to watch window, and nobody does. And that, well, that's the end of that round.
Yep, the window was the problem. And Rusty and Dennis into 2v4. And talking about the problem, Kiyoshima,
yeah.
I love how he just is still embracing that.
Yeah, no, this is definitely something. I mean, it's all about owning the memes, right?
Yeah, it's
taking
like
full
wear your meme, and it can't hurt you.
Exactly. I mean, the first one to really do that was JW.
Yeah,
and you had all the basically all the comments about his appearances and the fact that the uprising nose, etc., all that kind of stuff, and he just turned that into pretty much every time he won a tournament, he would just post a picture of a piggy bank stuffed with cash.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Just
yeah,
pure ownage. JW has such a good sense of humor when it comes to that stuff. Just owns it completely to the point where nobody nowadays actually
nobody can
touch him. Right? Exactly. He's shown that he's invulnerable in that sense.
I feel like even when you're on top of your game, though, you're always gonna get someone or a group of people just trying to bring you down.
Absolutely. There's always going to be people jealous of the situation you find yourself in when you're at the very top. Well, Lucky really gunning for it here. And didn't really make it that far. He was kind of left to his own devices as well, the sole player. Nock finds one, not good enough to find Jax. Jax is really, really on form today.
Yeah, it's always nice to see when he's playing well. G2 can be a team that, when everybody's playing well, they're almost capable of beating everyone in the world, but
doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And when they're having their off day, they forget to defuse the bomb.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. They've had some blunders, haven't they? Let's see. Had an opportunity and makes the best out of it on attempt number 2. That's one hell of a peek onto Kenny S. That gives them the man advantage as well. Hampus low 1 HP.
Oh my.
Somehow wins it out. We were talking about how well Jax is playing. He probably should have had at least one there. Almanac though.
Very solid on the Krieg, Almanac.
Absolutely so.
It's 2 different angles though. It's going to be difficult for him to hold off. He's got that kill towards short as he looks back over towards Rusty. And well, Almanac's anything but. He gets 2 kills very easily, pulling that one off. It's 7-3 here with G2 building up a lead.
Building up a lead indeed, and also thrashing the economy of GamerLegion here. We're talking about how GamerLegion's goal for, I guess, the round that they started off, or the streak that they started off, was to get to the point where they can break the economy of G2, or at least have them half buying instead of having full buys every single round. Never really got to that point. That's what we're seeing G2 now, taking control over the game once more.
Well, Kenny S picking off the first kill.
Accurate as always. And also expecting that aggression on catwalk.
Hampus is pushed up through the tunnels. Keo will take that kill, but he looks back over towards upper tunnel, and that's where Hampus is making his push, and Keo reads it well. Reads it like a book. It's open and closed.
Yeah. Well, we're looking at the first G2 game of the day on Dust 2. Looking at Kiyoshima and how he entered his duels and what kind of angles he took and how he started off spraying, etc., it looked really off. Looks much cleaner here in this series so far.
Yeah, he definitely looked a little bit rough in that opening game.
It's just like just woken up or something.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you know, it's
a little bit sluggish.
Haven't played one of these in a while.
Now he's getting into the groove of things, which is good to see, and also pretty terrible news if you're GamerLegion.
Yeah, he's gradually just finding his footing again. It has been a while since we've seen Kiyoshima play.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Cloud9 adventure, I suppose, but it didn't necessarily consist of the most exciting Cloud9 roster or necessarily the most tournaments, and I think everyone was quite aware that was going to be a temporary thing.
Kiyoshima is just a very unlucky guy when it comes to teams, it feels. You know, when FaZe Clan had obviously him and Alu and that whole shebang with Nico, that team was pretty solid, right? That was a very solid team. It had all the pieces. Then they decided to go for the FaZe Clan that is
the YOLO clan
of today. Every single big player you can think of history, really. Olofmeister, Nico, Guardian. Yeah, Carrigan is the Gibbler. That's when Keo took a bit of a hit, and well, unfortunately, it took him a while to find a team again.
Yes, it's never really been the same, hasn't it? And well, it might be on a change in the horizon. We'll see, though, if there's any sort of extended, I guess, trial period for him if he does well here and in New York. But obviously, nice for him to be back in the fold in any sort of capacity. Hampus close up to double doors. Gonna drop a smoke that also lets Kenny know that he's right around the corner. Down to 23. That nade. Woof. All right, I was about to say it's gonna finish him off. He still hasn't moved. He's a brave man.
He has literally had this happen to him 90% of the rounds that's been played towards mid. He's been dropped to 1 HP, 2 HP, 10 HP. He's just never got a chance, but this time he gets aggressive. He gets a kill with it, and he stays alive.
Still not backing off.
It's just balls of steel.
Yeah, now this should be where he dies. There you go. So limit to how long you can test the limits. And well, Freiburg has been pushing out through upper dark here, so you might get into a position where you can flank. He's going to have to deal with Omnic down in mid, though. That's going to be the big game changer in this round, potentially. Omnic, is he going to expect it? Oh, yes, he is. That is unfortunate, and that, well, makes the job of G2 that much easier. Mog can't handle all the Frenchies have to throw at him, and Dennis, well, does his damnedest, drops the bomb as well. I don't know why Omnic was waddling around towards B. It's definitely not where you want to be now with 11 seconds left.
Perhaps too much faith in his teammates, but Dennis is going to have to try and just hold this bomb below him, but Amanek, he's not sort of shying away from this. He wants to take the fight. Dennis is just hiding. There's not enough time.
Smart by Dennis.
Yeah, very well played from Dennis. He doesn't get too overzealous. He wants the win.
Yeah, I don't have any solid reasoning I can think of as to why Omnic actually bails away from the bomb site. In any sort of scenario. Just at least get the bomb plant down. Secure something for yourself. Be sure of it. Don't just assume. Yeah,
a little bit of a questionable decision there, but we'll see what's going on here in the bank of G2. It's going to be a big buy coming in again. And,
tower?
Yeah, it's going to be a nice boost. Missed opportunity, though, but he knows the info. He sees that they're running towards him, but Jax is just there, and he hits the shot instantly. Knock is gone.
Is Hampus trying to find the... Oh, is he going to wait out? Okay. Gets the op on the way out. There we go.
Slithering away with the op in his hands, and this time Hampus has not been dropped to 1 HP, so he's having a better time of things.
The world is his oyster. Kenny is waiting for him to peer in from the B slope, though. Doesn't seem too interested with it. Watch for Rusty to clear out exit. No one there, but obviously the Molotov is going to be told that there's somebody in upper. But yeah, the big question mark around this round is going to fall onto Dennis, how well he can do to fend off this potential push on Catwalk, because Freiburg is very dedicated to hold off long, and it kind of needs to be as well. It's just a result of losing that early mid advantage, and or losing the early man. Spreading your defense thin. Going off of contact as well. Dennis has definitely seen something, and Keo's going to get the better of Freiberg. That means Dennis is very much on a timer, needs to get aggressive, and is only good for 1.
Yeah, at least he gets 1 there because he was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he's about 2 seconds away from being flanked by Keo.
Yeah, it's not enough though. It won't really amount to much anyway, as Hampus and Rusty are going to have to fall away and save whatever they've got. It will be G2 up to 9, and taking a look at GamerLegion's leftover money, moving into this next round, it's just going to be very thin. It's going to be spread super thin.
Yeah, I don't think you can reasonably expect them to rebuy into this one to shore up an MP9 and an AWP. But I think well, either you let Hampus have at it with the AWP and see where it goes, or you drop it for Knock and see if he can actually get aggressive and potentially do something with it. But it does feel a little bit ill-advised to buy up behind this.
Keo actually gives away an 8k there, so that does give them a better chance here. And obviously he's going to have to get a drop on over. G2's money's not expendable just yet.
No, we're getting near the end of the half though, so they're going to buy up regardless of what happens here, even if they were to lose. But yeah, GamerLegion being conservative about it, and I think that's the right approach. For the better part of it, Hampus is going to attempt the peek eventually. Oh no, just waiting for the angle and misses out on the opportunity. Ooh, nearly lines it up behind the wall though.
He knows Kenny's done that a few times, so instead of actually going for the challenge, he just holds a different angle, and I like that approach from him. Kenny's under a lot of pressure. They really are isolating this guy.
Well, attempting to do so. Yeah. Oh, Jax. Well, it's definitely been the leading front figure here of this G2 squad today, and shows no signs of stopping as he finds 2. Keo's, well, not the problem for G2 anymore. It's more of a thorn in the side of GamerLegion. That's a 10th round, double figures for G2, and they're starting to run away with this second map.
So, 11-4 is the half that G2 want to walk away with.
Yeah.
GamerLegion look to try and just grab that 5th.
And you have to pose the question whether or not 5 rounds is going to be enough regardless for GamerLegion going into the second half.
If they win the pistol and the follow-up, it can be enough. It's just going to be difficult.
I don't think that's guaranteed to be the case.
What a flash.
Cheeky flash from Freiberg. That's in 1, but B-bomb site lost, and I don't think there's any way Hampus is actually going to be able to get in here. At least not safely. Flash comes in, and he doesn't actually go for it through the smoke. Kenny misses an opportunity, but G2 should be looking to stabilize pretty soon. There is 1 rotation coming in through Rusty here from T-spawn. He's actually going to find Kenny after a miss. It creates at least some tension.
Oh, Jax is in a good angle here, but he needs at least 1, and he gets 2. So great stuff from Jax. It's going to be a man advantage for G2 to play with. And finding their way back into this bomb site is going to be so hard, but they have to go for it anyway. Hampus goes right to the window. Amanek puts an end to a knock. No kit, no time at this point. Has to just run in, and it's Amanek that drops him. 11-4 at the half, and G2 are looking good on their map pick.
Excellent. In fact, Jax, 17 frags, 6 assists, and only 6 deaths. He's really just doing it all.
When Kenny S is going negative, you know, and you're still winning 11-4, you know something's going right somewhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it hasn't really been the biggest of impacts from either of the ops so far in this game, but there's no doubt that Jax has been looking pretty damn solid, and so do the odds, I suppose, for G2. 1.01 in odds of them closing this out from this point on. GamerLegion into double digits, at least on that front.
Well, Kenny S going for a mid-fight. This is still going on. Eventually, one of these guys has to break, and it will be Kenny who backs off. And Jax will be looking over the top of short. He does see something. He will start rattling shots towards Rusty and Hampus' position. Although they are just waiting until that Xbox smoke pops up from T-spawn. And that sort of severs the information flow of Jax.
Still smoke on Rusty as well, and a Molotov on Nog. So looking to set up for this B split. I might have
I love how Jax just stays there the entire time. Like, even when the smoke comes up and there could be players close, he's just sitting there.
Supremely confident, right? 11-4 up. He's been successful in pretty much everything he wants to do. I'm assuming the Molotov from Nock is coming in from the back of Plateau. It's not long enough, though. That's a big issue. Now you don't really have a way to enter into the bomb site. Jax is pushed forward. Then it's going to get the better of him, but well, does feel like map control is thoroughly in the hands of GamerLegion. That's a shot and a half from Kenny.
Yeah, it's solid from Kenny.
I'm a little bit curious as to what Freiberg's role in all of this is, because he's been standing on the long corner for about a minute
He's
and
just
a half.
waiting until the rest of his team, I guess, get up short, and then he wants to make his play, as that seems to be the call here. But his teammate has dropped towards short, and finally Freiberg springs into action, but the bomb is up on short. Freiberg tries to get it done, but is lucky with the last 2 kills. So 12-4, 4 away here from G2, taking us to that 3rd map, and Train is looking all but locked in.
Really is. And, well, not a whole lot of surprises, I suppose, on this one. G2 just doing things by the book. GamerLegion not quite up to snuff here on this map. We'll see if Train's going to be a different story, or if we're, well, going to end up there. I guess still rounds to be played, but I have to admit to the fact that G2 are looking pretty damn impressive as it stands right now.
Well, Jax will stand up with the MP9 as Dennis starts to come in towards him. Multiple players should be looking around the corner, and Jax gets 1 kill. There really wasn't a world in which he stayed alive for much longer there, with so many people stacking towards that short area. Lucky has to fall back, and Amanek will follow suit, as they are going to just wrap around short together. It's going to be the man advantage for GamerLegion. Ball planted, and a real chance to pick this one up.
Oh, the dream is very much alive. Amaneck's probably going to wait out that smoke, and now he might not actually have a choice. He has to run through this. He doesn't have any utility to back him up either through it. No teammates either. See if there's a flash on the other side or anything to that effect. No, there's not, but Lucky's found a kill onto bomb site. He's found 2, actually. Alrighty then, Lucky all by his lonesome, trying to make this happen. And with the kit in hand, kioShiMa should have just enough time to close this in.
Oh, that was, yeah, that was a little scary for G2. GamerLegion, I think, will be happy enough even after losing it. They got a bomb plant, they got all the kills they require. The money's not really in a good position here, but Rusty's gone for the Krieg, so I'm assuming it's just going to be a buy.
Yeah, they're just throwing everything they have at the kitchen sink and sees what sticks. That was very, very close. If Lucky doesn't mind a string of frags within a couple of seconds, that's G2 without any real hope.
Oh, flash is good on Dennis, doesn't get any info on perhaps a crossing player. But kioShiMa is just going to be standing here on the platform, jiggle peeking back and forth. GamerLegion going for a much more spread out play, a default coming in. 1 player holding long while 3 work in towards middle. Rusty is the only player with a viable weapon to do this, so they're sending him in with a flashbang. You've decided to buy the Krieg, do something with it, and it's not going to happen. Lucky has dropped in. Freiberg looks to try and go through the door to help his teammate, but he's being stopped pretty quickly by this spray.
It was, at least, for the time being. He still manages to pick up the SG somehow, though.
He's just the sheer power of will.
Yeah. Well, the little utility they have, it seems like they want to set up for a catwalk, and that's a timely nade from Kenny.
Yeah, that does a lot of damage onto both Freiberg and Nock. 46 seconds in play, and the rest of GamerLegion looking to charge in towards short. Currently, G2 have 3 players positioned towards the A side of things. Jack in the pits a little further away than Lucky and Kenny, but this should be pretty difficult for GamerLegion. Flash is good. Lucky finds the first. He will fall after just 1 kill, but Kenny, he's still alive.
Oh, and Jax swings in. While Kenny has all the attention in the world focused on him. And that's an easy cleanup. 14 rounds for G2 to the 4 of GamerLegion.
Well, the odds certainly not looking good here. GG.Bet, at least for GamerLegion, looking very good for G2.
Yeah. I guess if you're looking to get anything out of that bet as of right now, you would have to go with GamerLegion.
Well, we didn't really see too much of GamerLegion on anything other than Overpass, right? So
yeah,
finally we're getting to see a bit more of a test for them. Perhaps as the map they just haven't touched yet.
Could very well be.
And I'm kind of scared for them on Train at this point. Train's a very tactical map. T-side is going to be so difficult.
It really is. And you have some of the individuals on the side of G2 who are just really firing on all cylinders. I think we've seen every single map Jax has been at the very tippy top of the scoreboard, laying waste to his enemies.
Now that you've just said that Hampus looks like Post Malone, I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, no, it's there every time it goes to his POV.
It's just, I just hear Post Malone songs going in my head. I still can't believe those people that they're like, oh, Post Malone's just made Ozzy Osbourne famous.
Oh god, well it's the same thing like if you remember the Rihanna, Kanye, Paul McCartney thing.
Oh yeah, Paul McCartney. Yeah,
wow, so nice to give an old man get a rocket start to his career.
Yeah.
Like about that.
Yeah, Beatles, you know.
Oh well.
Some people should just not be allowed opinions. Or at least allowed to state them anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, you're allowed to say it, in your bathroom, just to yourself.
You need a license to state your opinion in public. That would be
oh god,
that would save a lot of problems.
Big improvement on life quality in general for the world. We'll see if the life quality of GamerLegion is going to improve with this B push. Looking to find their 5th. Amanek tucked in the corner, even with the flashes being in the way, still deals with that really nicely. And Hampus, last one to fall, for surviving on G2. And yeah, this is, I think it's fair to say, I think it's fair to call it at this stage.
Yeah, I think it's a done deal. Unless GamerLegion have 11 in a row here with literally of showing no signs of doing that throughout the last few. So yeah, this is going to be a rough one. The Swedes not really showing too much here on Dust 2. An impressive performance on Overpass though.
Yep.
And again, being a team that is young and a new team here, they are certainly showing something.
New lineup for the day.
Yeah, maybe next lineup will do even better.
Did we know if they're going to play with the same team later on in this invitation?
I literally don't know. I think that's something that you just kind of go day by day with GamerLegion.
Yeah, just play it off of here, and the whole knock is again. Well, the one weakness I suppose that we said that we saw in G2 was that mid defense, and knock is taking advantage of that at the very least. And well, easy as that. GamerLegion creating openings everywhere.
It's not done yet. Knock with another. Lucky is the last man standing. And actually, the shot that Knock landed onto Lucky was just disgusting there.
Yeah, so quick.
It's kind of like when a team hits the point where they're about to lose the map, it's almost like a sixth gear kind of appears. Yeah. And they just kind of, well, we're losing it anyway. Let's just do something wild.
And the wild definitely worked. Knock just straight out into mid. Hampus, okay. Optimistic flash does at least get intel, and it allows for Knock to get up close and personal.
Quad kill.
There you go.
He's only got 44 ADR though, so he has certainly had a quiet showing, but he has got the AWP in his hands. And perhaps if he can start to warm up towards the end of Dust 2, maybe going into train, that's when he can
feel a little bit more confident, yeah.
But money's not amazing here on G2. Kiyoshima's only on 1.4k.
Yeah, I guess that might be what they're deliberating, whether or not they want to buy into this regardless. I think that's definitely fair. You can still do it. Get a P215 armor on Kiyoshima, something to that effect. Have him just play a bit of an alternative position due to the weaponry not being ideal. But yeah, you can still get an op on Kenny. You can still get, most of the bits and bobs on the rest of the team. So it should be doable. In comes the buy. And they've actually dropped the scout for Kiyoshima, so actually get a decent amount of firepower out of this. Oh, okay. Hampus gets a tag as well.
Yeah, Hampus is going to be dropped to 54 HP. And it's going to be two players from the CT side going aggressive, but Dennis deals with them both. And GamerLegion, this is our chance to perhaps make this scoreline look a little bit more respectable.
We'll see, though. Is Kyo going to be aware of the potential window push here? One thing's for sure, Freiberg's ready for Jax, and that buy did not pan out. The tempo from GamerLegion definitely being stepped up here, flipping a switch, and all of a sudden G2 are left scrambling. Not really sure where to go from this. Kenny's right now just seeing if he can hold on to that op and bring it into the next round. That might be difficult though. He knows Freiburg goes that long at one point. And he knows that, well, there's very few avenues he can actually have control of. And the timing is definitely not going to do many favors. The dink is in. Rusty continues his showcase right now. 15 frags for him. He's head and shoulders ahead of everyone else on his team. So good showing from the stand-in. So a little bit longer until we can get the conclusion. GamerLegion not quite done yet.
And it's almost like it's prolonging the inevitable at this point, but again, it's always about finding some more success towards the end of your showing and maybe get a little bit more confident and some more momentum being built up for the final map. But it's still very difficult to see a way in which GamerLegion pulled us back. But I guess we always have to sort of look at it in a positive light.
Try at the very least. Now the USPs are charging up mid, and they will find Freiburg, but where did they go from here? Molotov's already down towards short. And A site control has been given to the T's. Respawn we go, and a bit of a shooting gallery incoming for Hampus, and Rusty wants to join in on the fun. Now all the CTs just completely trapped, one gun left. Amadek not going to be able to find a kill regardless. So, started a little bit dicey with Freiburg going down, but very well handled by GamerLegion.
Yes, but here is the buy from G2. If they want it, they can go for the full rifles, or they can go for a half buy and get the ops into the hands of Kenny. And I think that would, if you can get that option, you got to do it. So they're going to go for a bit of a half buy here, and well, they have got a buffer to play with, so it doesn't really matter. This is a good chance to do some chip damage, see what they can find, but in the end, the next round is when it cuts.
That's definitely true. Also got the confirmation that it is Hampus rocking this force spray.
There we go. We finally did it.
We did it.
Well, you did it.
At the very end of it, or what could be potentially the very end of it.
I feel like we always have to say that, even though, oh my god, that is fast.
It's quick.
We always have to say could be, would be, because the Invitationals always provide some crazy upsets.
That is very true, yeah. Things don't necessarily go according to plan.
Oh wow, Hampus just catching Kiyashima with his back turned. It will be a two-man advantage here for GamerLegion to play with. Kenny S up on short when Hampus is coming in from behind. He's just killing everyone with their back turned.
Must be nice.
You don't get those kills all the time.
Jax realizes that there's not a whole lot he can do, really, given the situation. Might set up and try to get some easy kills, but the second he tries to move around, two GamerLegion players appear. Now it's all down to Amadek. On catwalk with the UMP, just crouching forward, and he's just going to get spammed down. I'm curious if Hampus saw like something on a radar off of one of his teammates. There we go. 8 rounds for GamerLegion. Now we're actually going to have a proper buy-in from G2. With the previous investment, though, it does mean that Kenny's going to have to rock a glass cannon. Might be all he needs. 15-8. Knock. Not going to be challenged. Nearly connects a bullet. One of the crossing players on G2. Freiburg, though, not finding it on Jax. And we know Jax is pretty terrifying once he gets down into pit. Is he actually just going to walk through it? Oh, he actually finds Kenny. Oh,
that is disgusting from Freiburg, and it's going to be a push in towards the B-bomb site. It's going to be Kiyoshima and Amadek holding on, though, as Nock gets 1 kill back. It's all onto Jax coming back in from pit, and Hampus, he's ready for it. He'll drop him, and there it is. Another run on the board for GamerLegion as they keep coming back.
And they keep doing it so quickly as well. That's the big change up here. Whether it's running out to long, running into B, or out mid.
That from Freiburg was just hilarious, though.
Yeah. It actually ends up being a pretty damn vital thing.
If you do like a quick, if you pause it there and do a poll to the chat of which kill he actually gets, car, pit, or close by.
Yeah, nobody's
0%
for car.
Yeah. Well, It is Knock, and he is starting to light things up. Looking for a pick towards middle. They're not coming towards him. Perhaps Kiyoshima realizes it's probably not the best fight to take against him.
Oh, just want to see if he can do some tag damage with that scout instead of necessarily going toe-to-toe with an op. Down in pit, there is Jax. This time he doesn't have a rifle, though, only a ZZ. Might be a little bit difficult to deal with all of this. Another Molotov comes in, just deeper and deeper.
Yeah, that's hard to deal with Jax.
Yeah, 3 players, bunch of Molotovs. Banking on the fact that he has an eco.
Well, Dennis is about to walk right into the waiting arms of Amanek. And they're not very friendly ones. Double smoke for the cross. Kenny S, does he want to wait for the flash? He goes through with his teammates flash buying, and he has a chance, but it's not going to be a kill. Freiburg and Hampus instead walk away with success. Keo and Amanek left with the situation on whether or not they want to save. I think, saving the Krieg is a really good option here on the CT side. So I think carry that on over. Doing damage to GamerLegion at this point doesn't matter. Yeah. So you might as well just save what you can.
I guess the question becomes more so than if GamerLegion, how, pretty they can make the score. It's more down to, can they actually make this a legitimate comeback?
Yeah, because it's so close at this point that it is actually realistic that this can happen. Is Amanek just locked into this position? Oh, there's literally no way he gets away from this. He just has to
going to survive the bomb from here, right?
He has to get both players, though. And,
oh, wow. Yeah. What a peek from Hampus.
That was faster than my brain could react.
All right, so this game is definitely taking a bit of a turn here. We're seeing 6 rounds in a row from GamerLegion. It's like you said, they needed to be up against match point to hit that 6th gear and really find the groove of things. But to me, it's the tempo change, really, that G2 are not being able to really keep track of.
Is super fast from GamerLegion. And I think that's going to be the case. They've got to figure out as a team what way we want to play this. And obviously, it's a fast approach is the way to play against G2.
Here's the answer, though. 4 players over towards long.
Dennis is still alive. That is ridiculous that he just stands in the fire.
Ooh, nearly gets one.
A second there as well. That is ridiculous stuff, but eventually, this back and forth is a 3v3.
And honestly, with how much utility spent by G2 there, you take that as a win from GamerLegion. You come out of it with equal numbers and a whole lot more utility than what you can say from G2.
Yeah. Well, we have got one player up towards short. It is Amanek. And,
both sides actually being vacated by G2.
Yeah, there's no one. I was going to say, there's literally no one on a bomb site here for the CT side. Eventually, that will be changed with Keo will go back in towards B. Hampus wants to play with this close smoke, though, and this can be deadly if he can just get close enough towards Keo, who needs to be aware of the possibility. He'll start to clear car, door, and just limit the positions where Keo can be and spots the head surely. He doesn't see it. It's camouflaged, and Keo wins it. That could have been the deciding factor for Hampus. This might be the end for GamerLegion. Unless Freiburg and Knock manage to pull it back here. It is a 2v3 with 30 seconds left. They're both walking up towards A, and Freiburg, he's tapped away to Keo. It's a double Molotov in towards short. They cannot do this, but the Molotov lands on towards the site. And I just combined the word of Molly and Tov in the same word, but it's Knock that goes back and drops Kenny. It's all on the Amanek, a 1v2 to get G2 the win. And it just keeps going.
Just keeps going and going and going. Man, GamerLegion really pulled that out from nowhere. Hampus going down, not being able to spot Keo could have been disastrous. But Knock and Freiburg wanted it differently. And yeah, what was looking like a pretty lackluster scoreboard a couple of rounds ago for GamerLegion, not having a whole lot of their individuals really get into the groove of things, that's taking a turn.
Yeah, they've got an auto sniper, so I think that pretty much sums up how things have been going for the economy on the GamerLegion side.
The one thing that immediately has me worried right now is the fact that they slowed down their start. They've been so adamant about either pushing quickly into mid, pushing quickly in towards B or long cave. Now they finally simmered down a little bit. Let's see if that makes it easier for G2 to find their comfortable positions.
Yeah, they can't even afford to make a small mistake here, GamerLegion, because one small mistake costs you the entire map, so...
Yeah, things can spiral pretty quickly with these pistols in hands for G2. There's a scout from Lucky as well to get some chip damage in there.
Flash ready, goes around the corner.
Oh, there we go.
Bangs a Freiburg in the face. There's Jax that picks off that kill, but it's an aggressive play in towards the tunnels from Amanek. And this is looking good for G2. They've got the 2-man advantage to play with, and there's no answer from GamerLegion.
So much damage being dealt.
Oh my god, through the smoke as well. Kenny, he'll drop Dennis. Nock able to get one back onto Jax, but it's still only Hampus and Nock in a 2v4, and perhaps a slow approach is what cost him here.
Oh, boosting up is happening again, and Nock misses the shot. That should be the end of it. Hampus always lonesome, but Lucky able to get the final bullet in the coffin, the nail in the coffin for GamerLegion on Dust 2. They mounted a pretty significant comeback to start us off, and again, if winning that round, you're still dealing with a very shaky economy on the side of G2. Could potentially see that going to an overtime, but the Frenchies do close it out and put us on the train.
They do indeed. Map 3 is of course coming up, but it felt as though Nock just randomly decided he was going to rush mid on that last round. All hope was gone, and they just run straight through mid when they're down to map point, and suddenly wait, we can actually win runs, and it's like they just turned up to that 6th gear and started going super fast everywhere. Yeah, like you said, as soon as they slow down, they break the momentum, they're out of there. Yeah,
that's a bit of a shame to see. Would have liked to see basically just like a brick being put on the gas pedal and let it just ride it out, see how far it takes you. But we're going to hopefully get to see more of GamerLegion action on Train, even though that's going to be a pretty tough task.
Exactly. Map number 3 is coming right up. Train is going to be a difficult one for GamerLegion, but we'll see if they can pull it off.